peace, peace.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் மேம். A blissful meditation. Thank you so much, ma'am. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Dear aspirants, we are blessed to have our senior professor, Dr. K. Perumal sir, with us today. Be blessed by the divine. Sir is from Dindigul. He worked as a senior professor in physics department at Ramakrishna Mission College, Coimbatore for 33 years. Under his guidance, 10 scholars completed PhD and 25 students completed MPhil. Around 50 papers were published in national and international journals in physics stream. Sir has also been awarded as Best NSS Program Officer in state level. Sir got introduced to Swamiji in the year 1981 and spent his time with Swamiji actively thereafter. He became the director of Vision during the year 2004 and currently looks after the development activities, coordination with study centers and syllabus framing for Vethathiri courses. Sir is in charge of all MPhil and PhD works in Vision department. He is also in charge of digital library in Aliyar. Work from home, like work out the yoga from home, the online Vision classes is conducted by him with great efforts. Sir frequently visited Singapore, Malaysia, US, Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar to spread Swami Vethathiri Maharishi's world peace conceptuals given by our Guru. We have such a renowned personality, Sky Senior Professor Dr. K. Perumal sir with us here tonight to give speech on a brief history of time. Here we go with our professor. Be blessed by the divine.
வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by divine. Be blessed by divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, wisdom, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, wisdom, and peace. Respected professors, respected Sky members, dear brothers and sisters, I'm really very much happy to share a few words about the brief history of time with all my experience and also the knowledge gained through Swamiji Vethathiri Maharishi. The world, what we see now, is not the same for some years ago, and it will not be the same for some years after. So every day the changes are occurring. Various fluctuations, energy levels, changes are permanently occurring there. That's why when we ask a question, what is permanent in the universe, then the scientific answer will be the change alone will be the permanent in the universe. So everything is changing. Why they are all changing? Can't they remain permanently? No, they cannot remain permanently. For the evolution of the universe, the science has given different theories, starting from the Big Bang theory. Even now, most of the scientists, they believe in the Big Bang theory. And the philosophies, the Vedas and the Puranas, they give their own versions of the evolution of the universe. Swamiji has given a new idea about the transformation of the universe without confronting the ideas of the scientists, at the same time helping them to go for a higher level of thinking and the knowledge. So according to the scientists, mostly they believe in the Big Bang theory. So the Big Bang theory, according to the Big Bang theory, so the universe, the entire universe, what we see now, that evolved some 14 billion years ago. So what was the status before the 14 billion years ago? So they say the entire universe, what we see now, all the stars, galaxies, everything were in a condensed form. So that condensed nucleus, which exploded some 14 billion years ago, during that explosion, the nucleus that broke into thousands and millions of pieces. So those pieces were carried away in the different directions, and they're all flying at a very high speed. So the fragments are later on said to be the different kinds of stars and the galaxies, atoms and the molecules, everything in that way. So the entire universe began after that. So that was the theory based on the Big Bang theory. Then what would have been the status before the Big Bang? Why it exploded? And what are the materials needed to form that first nucleus? So these are all the questions remaining there. So what was the status before 14 billion years ago? So there are some questions which cannot be answered immediately, but however, they are giving those questions are giving some answers to the philosophers and the creative thinkers. So that's why they say before 14 billion years ago, so there was no universe, there was no time. Only after the formation of the universe, only after the explosion of that condensed nucleus, then the time started running on. So before that, there was no clock, no time, and nothing to measure. So that's why jovially they say that there was a time at which there was no time. Because before the Big Bang explosion, there was no universe. There was no oscillations. There was no time concept. Only after that explosion, what happened in 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, in 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 year, and 10 years, 1,000 years. In that way only now they analyze how these atoms and molecules are formed after that explosion, how the individual components are formed, molecules are formed, stars are formed, galaxies are formed. Then later on, how the living beings, they evolved, finally up to the human being. In that way, they start from that Big Bang and they calculate the evolution of all the atoms, molecules, stars, galaxies, then later on the living being, up to now, the human being. So before the Big Bang, there was no universe, according to the scientists. So when there was no universe, there was no time concept also. So that's why we say there was a time at which there was no time. Only after the explosion, the universe started, and only after the explosion, the time also began. But is it right to believe like that? Even a common person will start questioning that. How you can arrest the time before that? We say that the Almighty is a permanent phenomena. It has no beginning and no end. When you believe the God, which is permanently existing one, then how can you say that the universe started some time before? So there was some contradiction coming there. And almost all the theories now, based on the Big Bang theory, the scientists explain the formation of the atoms, molecules, everything there. Even now in the present universe, when you see that, what we see as the stars, galaxies, everything, the visible matter, they account to be roughly about 5%. We see the sun, all the planets are the sun. Similarly, we see so many stars on the sky. Each star is similar to our sun. So how many stars will be there in the sky? When you count the stars by the naked eye, you can count up to 5,000 stars. But when you use a telescope, maybe optical or radio telescope, and you can find some 20,000 crores of stars around us, which we call as the Milky Way galaxy. So when you move out of this Milky Way galaxy, there is another galaxy which we call as the Andromeda galaxy. Similarly, there are millions of such galaxies are there in the universe. So when you go beyond that, all the galaxies, what will be there? Only that absolute space that will be there. So that absolute space, here Swamiji calls us the Almighty, or the God, or the Brahman, or the Anadi. In different words, Swamiji calls that absolute space. So that absolute space is there around the universe. And there is no boundary for that absolute space. There is no end for that absolute space. Suppose if anybody travels to the absolute space, they will not go and hit any target. They will be going on, going on, going on. There is no end for that absolute space. So that absolute space, that is beyond the universe. And also that absolute space is inside the universe. Between the galaxies, the space is there. Between the stars, the space is there. Between the atoms, the space is there. Inside the atom, the space is there. So everywhere, the space is there. So the space is beyond the universe and inside the universe. When you see the stars, galaxies, atoms, and the molecules, they count to be less than 5% of the entire space and the universe considered. Less than 5%. Then in the 95%, they say roughly about 70% they call as the dark energy, and another 25% is the dark matter. Still, the scientists are making research. What is dark energy and what is dark matter? So totally what we see as the entire universe, the visible matter is less than 5%. That is our sun, all our planets, including the Earth, and all the stars, what you see in the sky, and all the galaxies. Everything they account only less than 5%. Remaining thing is only the space. Space also they divide into two parts. One is the dark matter and another is the dark energy. The dark energy is around 70%. The dark matter is around 25%. So this is the way now the science accounts the entire universe. Okay. So first, that so before the 14 billion years ago, there would have been only the 14 billions and the explosion. Then slowly the atoms and molecules are formed. Now what we see as the universe consisting of billions and billions of stars and the galaxies. Okay, now coming to the Swamiji's philosophy, but Swamiji has analyzed everything intuitively. Intuitively he has analyzed. So now we see the earth, the sun, the stars, galaxies, everything. You take the example of the earth, because we are living on the earth. We know the materials available on the earth. We know the movement related to the earth. Preciously, we know about that. So when we analyze the earth consists of solids, that is rocks, minerals, everything here. Then the water, then the heat energy from the center. Then it has an atmosphere consisting of the oxygen and the nitrogen. So generally we say the Panchabhutas, the land, water, fire, air, and the Akash. Akash is the subtlest particle, energy particle available everywhere. So the earth consists of these atoms and the molecules. Similarly, when you take any star or any planet, they consist of atoms and the molecules. Okay. So now, further, when we divide the atoms and the molecules, what will be the status of the atoms and the molecules? So the atoms, according to science, it consists of electrons, protons, and the neutrons. Electrons, protons, and the neutrons, they are said to be the subatomic particles. The electron, and which weighs very low, 2000 times less than the proton. So the proton and neutron are heavier than the electrons. Electron is the lightest particle in the atom. So which spins and orbits around the nucleus which consists of the protons and the neutrons. See, all these atoms and the molecules are regulated by certain movements. They have some spinning effect and the orbiting effect. Spinning means rotating itself, and orbiting means and revolving around a particular center. So all these atoms and the molecules, they have spinning and the orbiting effect. Not only the atoms and the molecules. So the atoms and the molecules are in the micro size. And the macro level, you can see the solar system and the galaxies. In the solar system, we find that leaving the sun, we have some other planets starting from the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So all these planets are there around the sun. So they are all spinning around themselves and orbiting around the sun in the precise manner. There is no delay of a second in their movement. Everything is perfected. How these movements are going on? Who is controlling everything here? So there is a perfect movement. What that Swamiji calls as the order of function. Consciousness. Even that may be animate or inanimate, but the movements are very perfect, very much regulated. So how this consciousness works out in all the things? Okay. Now when you analyze this, so taking the earth, which is made up of atoms and the molecules, and how the atoms and the molecules in turn we see electrons, protons, and the neutrons. Whether these electrons, protons, and the neutrons are individual particles or assembly of particles, still the research is going on there. The science, they say, the protons and the neutrons are made up of quarks. So three particles, they call the up quark and the down quark. So they are made up of particle quarks, they say. What about the electron? Electron, they don't have a specific answer in the science. But here Swamiji says, all these electrons, protons, and the neutrons, they are not individual particles. So they are associations of formative dust particles. Ether, formative dust, Iraithugal, Paramanu, Nunbin. You can call it in different names. The scientist Michelson Morley, physicists, they tried to prove the existence of the ether because it is very subtle, very, very small. They are unable to detect and find its characteristics. Therefore, they were unable to prove the existence of the ether. Swamiji comes to their rescue, and Swamiji says those ether left out by the Michelson Morley scientists, he says as the formative dust particle. So what is the size of the dust particle? It is the smallest one in the universe. Nothing can be smaller than the universe. The dust particle, which is spinning very fastly. When they spin very fastly, they radiate a wave. That Swamiji calls as the magnetic waves or the magnetism. When they spin, what is the speed of the spin? That is the fastest one available in the universe. And what is the size of the dust particle? That is the smallest one in the universe. So that is the smallest one spinning with the maximum speed. Okay, that is the dust particle. How these dust particles are formed? So the Big Bang, what scientists say, Samuji gives another way. So there was only the space throughout. No dust particles were there. And the space, according to Samuji, which is not an empty space, which is not a vacuum, the space has the energy to create everything in the universe. The space is full of energy. The energy, in science we can say, the conservation of energy. That is, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to another form. Similarly, the energy in the space, later on, that energy became the molecules and the atoms. The molecules and the atoms, they associate, they form the stars, galaxies, planets, everything. So a part of the energy in the space has been diverted, has been transferred into molecules, stars, galaxies, and the universe, what we see now. That is according to that Einstein's mass energy relation, E is equal to mc square. E is the energy, m, that is the mass, and c, that is the velocity of light. So the energy of the space that has been condensed into the particles. So what was the first particle formed? The first particle formed, that is the dust particle. That is the smallest particle, fastest particle, spinning particle. So how that dust particle was formed? Yeah, now we come to the factor of kinematic theory. The space which has infinite energy. The space has infinite energy. Because of that infinite energy, it is also associated with infinite frequency also. So we know that Einstein's mass energy relation, E is equal to mc square, in which energy can be converted into mass. Similarly, any mass, when it is converted to energy, the same equation works out. The mass will be converted to energy. When an atom bomb explodes, what happens? A part of the mass is lost. That lost mass is converted to energy. That is the energy coming out in the atom bomb. So the transfer of energy from the energy to mass and the mass to energy, it's a reversible, it's a process. So energy is conserved there. So energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So the energy, the space that has been converted into the mass, or mass, you can say it's a condensed form of space or condensed form of energy. So the mass, all the masses are formed by atoms of the molecules. These atoms are formed by electrons, protons, and neutrons. And these electrons, protons, and neutrons, they are not the single particles. They consist of millions and millions of dust particles. The electron, proton, neutron, they in turn, they consist of millions of dust particles. These dust particles, they are the first formed one. Very small, very fast. How they are formed? Because the space which has infinite energy, the space which is associated with infinite frequency also. There is another formula given by Planck. E is equal to h nu. E is the energy, h, that is a Planck's constant, nu, that is the frequency. So when there is an infinite energy, it should inherently be associated with infinite frequency also. Any energy is associated with frequency. See now, you see the solar radiation is coming there. It is associated with the frequency. What we see is the visible radiation that is associated with a particular frequency. And we are speaking. the audio voice is moving in the air. That is associated with another frequency. Similarly, any energy that will be associated with the frequency. According to that law, E is equal to h nu. E is the energy, h is called as the Planck's constant, and nu, that is the frequency. So here in the equation, E equal to h nu. In that equation, now you consider the space. The space has infinite energy. When the space has infinite energy, then what will be the frequency associated with the space? When E is equal to infinity, h is a constant, and what will be nu? That nu should also be infinity. Therefore, the space is associated with a frequency, infinite frequency. That infinite frequency, Swamiji calls as the kinematic quivering. That infinite frequency, Swamiji calls as the kinematic quivering. See how deep Swamiji has gone to that level. Space has infinite energy, so it should inherently associate with infinite frequency. That infinite frequency cannot be measured by the human beings or by any scientific means because it's infinite. It's beyond the level of any instrument to measure that. So that infinite frequency. So whenever you say a frequency, then that frequency is associated with the another two factors, the wavelength and the time. So the wavelength and the time. So these three factors will be coming there with any movement, any wave, any frequency. So the frequency is the number of waves per second. The wavelength, there is the length of the wave, starting and the ending point. The time, the movement from starting point to the end of the wave, that is called as the time. That's the basic time. That's the basic time. Suppose you imagine a wave, ups and down, ups and down, ups and down, a wave. So one up, one down. So that is called as the wave. One crest, one trough. That is called as the wave. So the time taken for the movement from the starting point of the crest and finally the ending point of the trough. So that time is the basic time, basic time. So Swamiji calls that as the basic time of the universe. That is associated with the space. That Swamiji calls as a kinematic quivering. This is an important concept what Swamiji gives here. Very, very important concept, which science has not yet come to that level. Even the science say in a different way, the micro background radiations and other things, scientists still they are searching for it. There are so many things still the scientists are unable to find the reason. So even now for cosmic rays, it's coming from different directions and we don't know where they are coming from. But Swamiji, when you go along with this theory of Swamiji, you can say how the cosmic rays are coming from the universe, coming from the space. Okay, all right. Now, so the space is associated with infinite frequency. Infinite frequency means it should be associated with the time also, wavelength and time also. That time is a basic time. That's a basic time. There is a basic time available in the space. And whenever there occurs some small changes in the energy level and the frequency, then what happens? There occurs a whirling effect. There occurs a whirling effect. That whirling effect caused in the space, that is the dust particle. See how deep Swamiji has gone and analyzed the dust particle. The whirling effect or spinning effect caused in the space because of the small variation occurring in the energy and the frequency level. It's an infinite energy, infinite frequency. When there occurs a small variation, then immediately it is diverted. Then there occurs a spinning effect. You see, in the atmosphere around us, the air is there for 10 kilometers above us. But when there occurs some density variation because of the solar radiation, suppose at some density variation, low pressure area, high pressure area, when it is developed, what will happen? The low pressure area cannot remain for a long time. So the pressure, high pressure, the wind that will start blowing to the low pressure area, it will start compensate that. During that process, what happens? When the wind from high pressure area, they reach the low pressure area, or we call as the low depression area. When they meet together, they form a cycling effect. That cycling effect is called as a cyclone. How this formed? Because of the pressure variation, the low pressure is substituted by the high pressure. When they reach at a point, they start spinning. That we call as the cyclone. Similarly, in the space, full of energy, infinite energy, and the infinite frequency, when there occurs a small variation, immediately it is substituted by the surrounding space. They reach that place and cause a spinning effect. That spinning space or the spinning energy, so that is called as the dust particle. Why it is caused? Because of variation of that frequency or that energy. So that is substituted, compensated, or converted, or diverted as the dust particle. That is the smallest one and the fastest one. So these dust particles are globular in size. They spin fast. And similarly, millions and millions of dust particles, they evolve. So now almost all the entire space is filled with the dust particles. They are the smallest one. They are the fastest one. So these dust particles are evolved continuously, are evolving also, and that will be evolving in the future also. But one day they will stop. When they stop, they become the space again. So these dust particles later on, they associate. The speed variations make them associate to form the Akash particles. The Akash particle later on we call as the electron, proton, neutron. So these particles, they associate to form atoms. The atoms again, they associate to form molecules. Then further association, then the air, fire, liquid, and the solid, the Panchabhutas, they are formed. In that way, the universe is formed. So for the entire universe formation, what happened? Because of the kinematic quivering occurring there in the space, that caused the formation of the dust particle. Then these dust particles, they associate to form the Akash particles. These Akash particles, they associate to form electrons, protons, and neutrons. They associate to form the entire universe. So for the formation of the entire universe, that kinematic quivering, that is the responsible. If the quivering is not there, then nothing would have happened. So that can be compared. So you take a computer, any sophisticated computer, maybe a small size, big size. In all the computers, there will be an oscillator that will be producing oscillations. That's why you call it 100 megahertz, 200 megahertz, gigahertz, in that way you're saying that. So that frequency is there because that frequency only the computer system is working. If you stop that oscillator, everything will be off. Similarly, in the space, that kinematic quivering is there. Because of the quivering only, the dust particles are formed, then atoms and molecules are formed, then the entire universe is formed. Later on, the living beings originate everything, the quivering effect. That is the primordial one. That is the important one. So in that frequency, the time is associated with that. That is the basic time. Why we call this a basic time? So that is the basic time available in the space. But when they combine to form the atoms or the molecules, then the atoms, that frequency will differ. Molecule, that frequency will differ. Then when you come here, if everything put together, it forms the earth. So the earth rotates once in a day. So the frequency differs. The sun, spins once in 25 days, that frequency differs. Similarly, depending upon the association, maybe the molecule, atom, or the star, or the galaxies, that frequency will be differing, or we can say the time will be the multiplication of the basic time. So the basic time that has been multiplied for the atoms, again it is multiplied for molecules, again it is multiplied for forming the Panchapudas, again it is multiplied with some other factors forming the earth. Again, similarly, that is going on there, that multiplication of the basic time. Or otherwise, we can say, suppose you take a small seed and put it in a fertile land and water that seed, then what happens? After some 2 or 3 days, it starts sprouting. So the small roots will be coming. Then after some time, then the stem will be going up. Then after some days, the leaves will be coming there. One by one, it will be coming there. How? See, you're putting that seed in the fertile land. So what happens? The basic time when it is, suppose, for example, the basic time when it is multiplied by 1,000, then the roots are coming out from the seed. Then the basic time multiplied by 2,000, then the stem is coming there. The basic time multiplied by 3,000, then the leaves are coming there. Similarly, this is an example. Similarly, for all the changes occurring in the universe, either may be animate or inanimate, the basic time multiplied by another factor that governs for the change occurring in anything. Let us take, we are the human beings. So we live for 100 years. 100 years. So 100 years means the basic time multiplied by some other factor. That's all. That is 100 years. So the basic time is multiplied by a small another factor. So that is the way you are in the childhood. When the basic time multiplied by another factor, then you are in the adult stage. When the basic time multiplied by another factor, then you are aged now. The basic time multiplied by another factor, then you are ready to die now. Your age is over. Therefore, entire age is covered by the basic time. When it is multiplied by some other factor, all the changes are coming there. That's all. For all the happenings in the universe, that basic time is responsible. And all other happenings in the universe are nothing but the multiplication of the basic time with some other factor. That's all. So that is the origin of the time. The basic time is the origin for everything. When it is multiplied, so that basic time is available in the space. The kinematic quivering, Swamiji calls us intuitively, he calls us the kinematic quivering. So when it is formed as a dust, then the frequency will be differing. When the dust particles associate to form the Akash particle, the association of these particles, they will have some different frequency, different wavelength. Generally, Swamiji calls that as a universal magnetism. Then again, in these, they form the electrons, protons, and neutrons. Then again, that frequency will be differing. When they associate to form atom, okay, then again, difference will be coming there. When they associate to form the other media, air, fire, water, and the solid, then again, the frequency variation will be there. So everything is nothing but some multiplication factor over the basic time. That's all, basic time. So in that way, the electrons are formed, protons are formed, neutrons are formed, then atoms are formed, the universe is formed. Then after which the living being, they started forming. From 1 sense, 5 sense, finally the 6th sense. For all the changes occurring there, that kinematic quivering, that is responsible. The kinematic quivering, imagine a wave, ups and down, ups and down, ups and down. So one up, one down, that you call as the wave. What's the time taken for the movement to go from the starting point of the up and finally the ending point of the trough? That is the basic time. Or you can say between 2 ups or between 2 troughs, between 2 crests or between 2 troughs, the time travel. That is the basic time. And all the changes in the universe are nothing but the multiplication of the basic time. The earth is spinning once in a day, That is the multiplication of that basic time. It revolves around the sun once in a year. That is the another multiplication of that basic time. The sun is also spinning. So that is the multiplication of that basic time. The sun is also moving around the galactic center. It has revolved twice in its age now. It can again revolve two more. It can cover only two more rotations. That is pending for them. So that will be the total life of the sun. Therefore, everything in the universe is governed by that basic time. The entire universe will die one day, will disappear one day. Surely it will disappear one day. Again, it will originate. Let us not worry about that. Again, it will originate, and that will have some different status. So the entire universe, so what you see here as the visible universe is only 5%. 95% of the universe is only absolute space. Now the science says even the 95% of the absolute space, they split up into two as the dark energy and the dark matter. What is dark energy, the dark matter? Still the scientists, they are doing a lot of research over there. But what I feel is, coming from the Swamiji's theory, the entire universe, because the dust particles are evolved from the space, and even there may be a space without dust particles. So the space with the dust particles may be called as the dark matter. Space without dust particles, that may be the dark energy as such. Maybe that. Because what science says about the dark matter, scientists say about dark matter, a gravitational effect occurs in the dark matter, the area in which dark matter is assumed. There occurs some gravitational lensing, gravitational effect. That's gravitational effect means each mass attracts another mass by gravity. If only there exists some mass that can attract another mass. In the pure space, there is no dust particle. There is no attraction between the particles. But when it comes here for the dark matter, if we imagine the dark matter that consists of the dust particles, then because the particle they exist, there may be a chance for the mutual attraction that may cause the gravitational lensing effect. So in that way, that may be categorized, but it should have a long research over that. But scientists, they say more than 75% roughly about the dark energy, and the 25% may be the dark matter. In that way, they are saying that. So for everything, the origin is the kinematic quivering. Because of that kinematic quivering, every evolution, first formation dust, second occurs particle, then electron, proton, neutron, association, everything. If the kinematic quivering is not there, then space would have remained as such. No dust particle. Then no association of dust particles, no occurs particle, no electron, no proton, no neutron, no atoms in the molecules, no stars, no galaxies, and no earth, no living being. So nothing would have been formed. And because of that kinematic quivering only, everything has been formed. So the kinematic quivering, there is nothing but the infinite frequency associated with infinite frequency. So the time will be very, 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 very small. As the frequency increases, so it is coming as 1 by t. The reverse reciprocal that will be coming there. Therefore, as the frequency is infinite, the time will be very, very, very small. So generally we say second, millisecond, microsecond, then nanosecond, microsecond. If you go, you can go on. You can add it for thousands of years. And finally, you will end up with something. That will be the frequency of the space. That Swamiji calls as the kinematic quivering. That can never be measured by any scientific instruments. But Swamiji intuitively, he analyzed. Even though Swamiji had a formal education of 3rd standard, he analyzed everything intuitively. So when the science understands this kinematic quivering, then when the science understands the multiplication of the time from that basic time, that causes everything, the atoms, molecule, and the formation of the entire universe and the living being, then no more Big Bang theory will exist. Because we are not aware of that kinematic quivering, we are not aware of the formation of the dust particles or the other particles. We depend on other theories. Mostly now we believe on the Big Bang theory. So it's not a Big Bang occurred at a particular time. That bang occurs every second continuously. Because of the bang only, explosion only, the dust particles are formed. Dust particles formed in all the places, all the places. Therefore, if you say, even if you say it's a Big Bang, because it is not occurring at a particular place, it is occurring at a vast place. Almost a lot of the space is covered with the dust particles. Therefore, even though it is a small explosion, it occurs covering a vast space. Even you can call it as a Big Bang, nothing wrong in it. So that is the reality. What scientists say is a Big Bang. That is different from what Swamiji says as a transformation. Nobody caused that. Because of the energy and the variation, that dust particles are formed. It's a self-transformation. Nobody induces the transformation. So that is associated with the basic time. That basic time multiplied by various different factors, that is the life of the existing atom, molecule, earth, and the moon, sun, the universe, and even the living being, everything. When the basic time multiplied with some other factor, that is your age. The basic time multiplied with some other thing, that is the age of an animal. That is the age of the earth. That is the age of the sun. That is the age of the universe. Everything, it needs a multiplication factor for the basic time. So that is the origin of the time. Swamiji has analyzed intuitively that origin and has given to the society now. It is for the scientist to have some theoretical modeling over that. Because whenever we are unable to prove something empirically, then we go for some theoretical modeling there and we can do it there. So now we say that absolute zero. Who has found that absolute zero? When you exploit the curve to minus 273, then you find that. Similarly, theoretically, we can develop a model and we can reach that. And those who are familiar with the quantum mechanics, the quantum gravity, and mathematical theoretical background, we can develop the theoretical modeling. So even now, some years back, we have found that Higgs boson that has been announced by 20 years back by Higgs. Now only it has been proved. Similarly, Swamiji has given this idea some 40-50 years back. Now somebody will be coming there to prove that existence. Surely somebody will be coming there. But Swamiji, through his intuition, he has given everything there. So that basic time, that is the origin of the time. That kinematic quivering, that is the origin of the time. And the quivering, ups and down, ups and down, ups and down, between two up, between two down, between the two troughs or between the two crests, that time travel, that is the basic time. Everything started from there only. I think with that we can conclude this session. And I don't know how far the message has reached you, but I'm sure one day this message will reach all the scientists, and all the scientists will work on it, and surely Swamiji will be honored. Maybe within 10 years or another 20 years, Swamiji will be getting the proper reward, because this is an idea given by Swamiji. Scientists may work out theoretically and may arrive the fruitful result, which the other scientists can accept that. So thank you very much for giving a nice topic, which induced me to go deep and think deep about that. Still, I myself need a lot more research to work on it. And this will be my, I think, my lifetime work to publish the paper and bring it to the world also. I think that will be the right, the gratitude what we are showing to the Guru. I think with that, I conclude this session. Thank you very much. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your enlightening speech, sir. For all the happenings of the universe is governed by the basic time, that which is the origin of the time. You really simplified our understanding of universe, sir. Thank you so much once again. Now the forum is open for discussions. Please click the raise hand button in your Zoom app to ask your questions. While you get ready with the questions, we have some important announcements. Please emphasize all your near and dear ones to learn and practice Kayakalpa Yoga. You can really easily learn Kayakalpa Yoga from your home by visiting the website kayakalpayoga.edu.in. Practice Kayakalpa, the humanizer, regularly and share its benefits to your near and dear ones. Help them to learn and practice it. If not yet, learn Kayakalpa Yoga, please visit kayakalpayoga.edu.in or download the Android app and share it with your relatives. WCSC Vision for Wisdom is conducting online foundation courses and certificate courses in English, Tamil, and Kannada. Please visit kundaliniyoga.edu.in for further details. Please refer your friends and relatives to join this course and let they get benefited by practicing our Guru's yogic techniques. Our monthly journal Anboli is also available in Android app. Download the Anboli app from Android Play Store. Get access to the premium content of our Guru Sri Vethathiri Maharishi's speeches at a nominal subscription. Connect with us on Facebook and YouTube at Sky Yoga TV to listen to all past speeches of our professors on various aspects of Sky Yoga. Karma Yoga principles of Vethathiri suggest donating 1% of income to the good causes of society. Be generous, donate to the World Community Service Center. There are multiple channels to do that, either through the Amboli app or our official website, vethathiri.edu.in. Just to mention, you get Section 80 GIT exemption as well for these donations. Now let's start a question and answer session. Professor T.S. Rajaraman, sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Yes.
Yeah,
Audible,
please,
sir?
sir. Please, sir. Please continue, sir.
Yes, sir. Be better divine. Sir, very interesting subject today.
Thank you, sir.
Of time. History of time is very interesting. I am very eager to learn. The time started only after the formation of the Big Bang theory. Very new news I heard. Very much interested. Sir, I got two questions, sir. Please answer.
Please, sir. Please have it.
Yes, sir. The first question is, in your lecture, you mentioned energy, dark energy.
Yeah.
Generally, energy means there is no taste, no form, no color. That is the case. Why, on what ground you mentioned dark?
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we go beyond this universe, there are no stars in the galaxies. If there are no stars in the galaxies, then the entire space appears to be black in color or dark in color. So only up to the stars in the galaxies, we have some light and visible radiations. It appears white or blue or something else. But when you go beyond this existing universe, no stars, no light. So therefore, the entire space appears to be dark.
Oh, I see.
It's only the dark space. In the dark space, again classify into two types. One is the dark matter and the dark energy.
I see.
The dark energy is full form of space, what we observe. Dark matter, that may be the region in which the dust particles might be existing. It's a questionable one. We have to make research for that.
I see.
They are doing research for a very long time, but they have not come to any conclusion. But because of Samuji's theory, I assume that the dark, what scientists they say, that may be pure space without any disturbances. Dark matter, what the scientists say, that may be a space consisting of the dust particle. Because dust particle It's the basic one for the construction of the atoms and the molecules.
Okay. Okay.
This
Okay,
is
sir.
an assumption, that's all. Hypothesis.
Thank you, sir. Next question, number 2.
Please, sir.
You were mentioning about a dark matter. The scientists are examining the formation of dark matter at a third or St. Geneva. I heard a news that the statue of Lord Nataraja is installed there. Those European people, they're atheists. They don't believe in God. That is the case. Why they're installing our Hindu God there? Any reason?
Yeah. See, when they were in trouble, to find out a proper solution, their problem was accelerate the protons with very high speed, and finally those protons will be allowed to collide each other, and because of the highly accelerated protons are colliding each other, then they will break into thousands of pieces and analyze the different fragments from which concluding. So that was their basic idea. So there, because the protons are very, very, very small, the collision and the problem, and they don't call because they will escape. So they were finding the difficulties. I heard that, I'm not sure whether that is right or wrong. Our Abdul Kalam suggested we have a God here, which is called a Siva. Siva is nothing but a cosmic dance. That is the divine movement occurring there. How the neutrons, it's a divine movement. Samaji says is the consciousness, its order of function. Similarly, the spinning effect and the orbiting effect, everything is a regulated movement. So the Siva or the dancing means it's a order of function. It's a regulated movement decided by the divinity. I think I heard that Abdul Kalam has recommended you please install a statue and try to know about the secrets of the statue. I think that may help you in getting your idea settled. I heard like that.
Okay, sir. Excellent reply. Thank you very much. You must be divine.
Thank you.
I am from Chennai, Paranangal, sir. Rajaram.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Shankani Naresh, ma'am. Can you please unmute yourself?
Please, Shankari, now.
Yeah, வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Please,
வாழ்க வளமுடன், ஐயா. Thanks for nice explanation, ஐயா. You explained evolution of universe in understandable way. Now, my question is, time travel possible? Is time travel possible?
Time travel mean, what do you mean by time travel? What do you mean by time travel? Again, I will unmute you. Please unmute your side. See, now in the science, the relativity, they imagine.
If I'm going to 100 years back or 100 years front, like that.
It's all imaginary concept. Even in the science, relativity, there is a concept. Suppose if it is possible for you to travel with a speed greater than that of light, then the entire scenario will become different. Suppose you say you are traveling in the space with a speed which is very much greater than the light, then you return after some 100 years, then your age will not be 100 years, it may be only 10 years. In that way, that is called a time dilation. The theory of relativity, they say that. So it's all calculation, that's all. But intuitively, you can go back, and because the entire universal magnetism is there in your genetic center, but using that condensed genetic magnetism in your genetic center, you can go and see the past and the future. That is intuitively you can do that. But scientifically, the time travel is a concept, that's all. It's a concept. So nobody can go beyond the speed of the light, and nobody can enjoy that variations coming there also. It's a concept because of the formula and the derivation given theoretically. It's a theoretical concept, and nothing can move with a speed greater than that of light. There is a maximum speed available. Still, some imaginations and theories are available, but intuitively, the genetic center, which has everything, all the records, you can go back 1,000 years or 10,000 years back, and even you can judge what will happen after 1,000 years also. So those informations are available in the genetic center. Why Samuji has told that in 150 years, you can see the world peace. He announced that in 1958. How? Because he could analyze. He could go deep into the genetic center and find the results coming there. So that is the way we can do that. And scientifically, and there is no time travel is possible.
Thank you, sir. Sivanandam, sir, can you please unmute yourself?
Sivanandam sir, from your side, please unmute. Sivanandam sir, your side, please unmute.
Okay. So it's getting late. Can we wind up the session, sir?
I think now yes, unmuted. Sir, please continue.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் சார்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வளமுடன் sir.
வாழ்க, really fantastic speeching, ஐயா. I enjoyed it right from the beginning. Very good flow, very easily understandable. The vocabulary, jargon, really very clear. I am very much grateful to you for having given such a talk on time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All the credit goes to Samuji. Let us all pray and bless, and the theoretical physicists and mathematicians should come forward. If they work out, surely they can make a theoretical modeling. If they make a theoretical modeling, surely it will get a Nobel Prize, and the credit will go to the Samuji. So let us all bless for it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No doubt, sir. No doubt. Everything blessings of Maharishi.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
If there are no more questions, I think you can conclude the session now.
Thank you
very
so
much for the IT team for giving me an opportunity to share some of the views, and thank you very much for all the participants hearing for more than this 1 hour here. And I take this opportunity to say that as already Amma told that this Vision is running this online courses, and the kundaliniyoga.edu.in, that is a website through which anybody can register. Now, this is the time we can reach the world only through the online education. Regular education through the trust and the mandam, it will take a very long time to reach all the people, but we got to reach the people quickly. So for quick reaching the entire world, we need this online education. Now the people from USA, Canada, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, different places, they are joining here in the online courses. I request all the members, available members, please share this idea to your friends and relatives anywhere in the world. They can join the online courses. So every month by 1st, we are starting one foundation course. Then by 16th, we are starting another foundation course for 12 days. Anybody above the age of 14, they can attend. Daily 1.5 hours, that's all. The time is flexible and they can have any time. The option is there. So I request all of you, please encourage your friends and relatives, live anywhere in any part of the world. Let them join this foundation course and enjoy the benefits. See, now we are seeing that more than 6 crore people affected by the corona, and more than 15 lakhs people died because of corona. I'm sure if the people learn our exercise, Kayakalpa, and the meditation, nobody will die in future. Such a fantastic exercise and the Kayakalpa Samuji has given to us. Please share this message to all your friends, all over the world, and please try to save them. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. Welcome, madam.
Welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for patiently answering our questions. Thank you once again. As aspirants, please come to meditative state by focusing your mind on Durya Chakra. Professor Umashri Katma, be blessed by the divine. A good health, be blessed by the divine. A loving family, be blessed by the divine. A divine service, be blessed by the divine. Now, let us bless our senior professor, Dr. K. Perumal, sir. Senior Professor Dr. K. Perumal, sir, be blessed by the divine. His good health, be blessed by the divine. His loving family, be blessed by the divine. His divine service, be blessed by the divine. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful speech. Please keep enlightening us with such wonderful topics time to time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dear donators, thank you for your great generosity. We, the World Community Service Center, greatly appreciate your donation and your sacrifice. Your support helps to further our mission of spreading Vethathiri to the whole world. By the grace of the divine bliss, may you and your family enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame, and wisdom. Be blessed by the divine. We are happy to bring online programs live from Aliyar, Temple of Consciousness, tomorrow. Morning session starts with Panchabhuta Navagrahatavam at 5:15 a.m. in Tamil, conducted by Arundhi Shankareshwari from WCSC Dintikal Zone, along with Aliyar IT team. 6 a.m. exercises in English, in Tamil. 7 a.m. Panchabhuta Navagrahatavam meditation in English by Professor Lily from Chennai. 11 a.m. Tamil speech on the topic Udapaichiyin Menmayum Kundalini Yogathin Sirappum by Professor Mohan Selvam from Chennai. Evening program details follows. 5:55 p.m. Panchabhuta Navagrahatavam meditation in Tamil by the WCSC Dintikal Zone with Aliyar IT team. 6:30 p.m. re-telecast of morning's Tamil speech, and Malayalam program details follows. 7:30 p.m. we have Duryadhida meditation in Malayalam by Professor A.R. Dominic, and 8 p.m. speech in Malayalam on ways to the divinity by speaker Professor Anishlal HS. We request you to share this program, invite your friends and relatives. Let's everyone take part in the spiritual journey. Please note that the meetings are password enabled, and to join the online Zoom, the password is Aliyar, A-L-I-Y-A-R. We thank our beloved President Padma Shri Arunidhi S.K.M. Marilanandam Ayya for his leadership, continuous guidance, and entire support. See you all tomorrow with another interesting session in Malayalam. Till then, be safe, meditate, practice Kundalini Yoga, and stay healthy. This is Arunidhi Jayalakshmi from the World Community Service Center ITT Aliyar. Let us conclude the program with the invocation for the world peace. May the whole world be blessed with plenty of rain. The farmers work to produce an abundance of grain. Let the practitioners of all trades prosper, flourish, and grow, and culture progress through the need to share and grow. Let the rules be beyond feelings of anger or fear, illiteracy, poverty, and all evils made to disappear. Let the true lamp of knowledge burn steady and bright. Our sense of duty guide us along paths always right. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Good night. See you all tomorrow by evening, 7:30 p.m. Be blessed by the divine.